it is. Hi, mahalo. It's Thursday. Let me give the phone number out, 1-800-LOVE-191. I'm going to translate that, 1-800-568-3191. The fax number, 310-854-4455. I'm Adam Carolla. He is Dr. Drew. He's a board-certified physician and addiction medicine specialist.
Thank you. Good night. And you're still sick.
Still a little bit, but you know what? I kicked it out. I exercised it. I felt, I really felt myself yesterday. I started to heat up and started to sweat, and I felt it.
It's called a fever.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, that's a fever. And
well,
so when you get sick,
everything.
And when you get sick, the thing you do is not exert yourself; it's rest.
I can't help it.
Yeah,
it's all the coffee and cold medication has me beaked up.
Well, how'd you sleep last night?
Oh, horribly.
You bounced off the walls again.
Oh, I slept for 3 hours. I had to get up at 5:15 this morning.
Right.
Oh, just hell.
Right.
Hell.
Right.
Hold on, let me say it again. Hell. I hate that.
Nice.
But it's Thursday. This is it.
Yeah.
We got the guys from Filter coming in here in a few minutes. We're going to have a great show, and then I'm going to go home and just be me. But first,
yeah, please.
I want to talk to you a second about Kevorkian.
Oh, yeah,
this guy's back in the news.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I did not read the headline this morning. The LA Times, I saw that there'd been some adjudication about assisted suicide.
Right.
Which I think is, you need to know that basically we do that anyway in sort of an unofficial way. I mean,
right? You put the pillow over a couple old folks' heads.
But you give people
Drew.
enough pain medication to keep them comfortable, and you don't pay attention to the consequences. You accept the consequence. One of the consequences could be death, and somebody's already terminal.
Meaning they're banging on the nurse ringer, and she's just smoking a cigarette.
No.
No.
If they bang on the nurse ringer, they administer themselves more pain medicine if they want. If that's what it takes to make them more comfortable. The fact is, though, if we're able to really do sort of some kind of ethically judged to be assisted suicide, we can really study it and make death a comfortable, dignified process rather than something we kind of, don't even talk about.
I just came up with this. I know it sounds morbid, but here's what we do.
All right.
We time them in some event. Like if you can't cover, let's say, a quarter mile in, under 20 minutes, you're out.
Okay, Adolph. Right.
Yes, and we only keep the blondes.
Right.
Yeah, it'll be like kind of a Logan's, it'll be Adam's Run.
Adam's Run, all right.
You have to cover a quarter mile.
What would that world be like? Think about that.
Are you kidding? I would genetically engineer all the mutants right out of this society. We'd have nothing but busty, smart, fast-talking, loose women. And a bunch of short, bald, fat guys, so I looked like the emperor.
Right.
But all I'm saying is this Kevorkian's in Michigan, and they drag his ass into court every other week now, and God knows how much money, how much taxpayer money they're squandering, and I use that word because I mean it, on this case. Yeah. He goes in there, he beats it, he shows him a videotape, but the guy giving a testimonial, a day before he died saying, yes, I would like to contract Dr. Kevorkian to come and end my life. I'm miserable. The wife waves by, and boom, they throw the case out. But it's costing millions of dollars, and I think it's a weird, pent-up religious thing. I mean, does the government need that much control that they have to...
Is it that, or is it the people that operate our legal system need to flex their authority?
I think they just don't like the way it sounds. This guy's, he's killing terminally ill
so
people.
They've got to tell you.
We've got to drag him in.
As is typically the case, the government has to tell you and tell other professionals who spend their lives dedicated to a practice how you're going to behave. Right.
And, but they would choose let's just nurse this miserable guy along.
Right.
He won't even remember
because God
the
forbid,
last year
God
of his
forbid
life.
The individual should be given the right to make these kinds of choices. Yeah, there has to be a system, and somebody else got to make those choices for you because you're not capable of those kinds of choices.
It's so pathetic. Yeah. I mean, that is really...
I sound a little bit radical when I say things like that, but I understand that it can go too far, but for God's sake, let's make guidelines and forces that make people behave properly. But let's not absolutely demand behavior because we deem
but the same morons who are talking about freedom to carry a gun and freedom to live by the Constitution, all this. They don't believe in this, and this is
I disagree.
the ultimate freedom.
I think it's the opposite.
Oh, you think the liberals don't want this?
Yes.
Are you nuts? Those pot-smoking, sandal-making, long-haired liberals are against? You're way off on this one, Drew.
Tonight, maybe we'll finally get some political commentary from our listeners, all right?
I doubt it.
Right.
Jessica.
Yeah, hi. Is this for Dr. Drew?
Yeah.
Okay, for the last 5 years, my period's been really regular.
Regular?
Yeah, very regular, like every 30 days, give or take 1 day.
Right.
And like, last month I was a week early. And this month I was 2 weeks early, and I had no symptoms whatsoever.
It just suddenly happened?
Yeah.
Any chance you're pregnant?
I have no clue. I mean, I have been sexually active, but...
Okay. Have you been using protection?
Not all the time.
Then guess what?
What?
Then that would be my first concern.
Okay.
That you either have a pregnancy or, more importantly, a tubal pregnancy, which can cause bleeding, even without pain initially. Okay.
No, what is a tubal? That's where it doesn't make it all the way up or down?
It doesn't make it all the way down. It stays up in the fallopian tubes.
I knew it wasn't over.
No, it's not.
But she may have that.
Yeah, I mean, and plus you've been sexually active, and that changes your cycling. Are you on any medications?
No.
Any vitamins or anything like that?
No.
You've been under stress lately?
No.
Changing your diet?
No.
Exercise levels?
No.
I mean, these are all things that can affect your cycle, but that's how delicate the female cycling can be. It doesn't have to be something that's rigidly, etched in stone every month. But the concern here, the paramount concern is, A, you may be pregnant, and B, you're carrying on without using proper protection.
Jessica.
Yeah.
You're having sex.
Yeah.
Your birth control use is spotty at best. You're missing your period, and it's a big...
Oh, no, I'm not missing
It's too early. It's happening early.
Oh, it's happening early.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, then...
But the bleeding may not be menstruation.
Hence the tubal.
Right. Or even just a regular pregnancy.
Okay. Jessica,
all right.
So what should she do? Go to a doctor?
Got to see a doctor, Jessica, okay? And, yeah, sorry about that. And in the course of doing so, maybe discuss with that person what you should do for contraception, all right?
That would be a good conversation for Jessica to have.
Yes.
Ursula.
Yes.
You're on Loveline.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
You're going to bitch me out.
Who is?
You are.
I will not.
Okay, promise?
I'm putting my kid gloves on and my Crown Royal sack over my tongue.
Go ahead,
Oh,
Ursula.
that'll give you cotton mouth.
I'm going to start yelling at you if you don't start piping up, though.
Okay. I just have a problem with... I know how, but I've been with my husband now. We got married in November, but we've been together for 9 years. And I just can't... I don't know what the deal is, but I've been unfaithful to him too many times.
How many times?
I don't know how many times.
A rough estimate, a round number.
10 times.
Does he know about any of these or all of these?
Yeah.
And how does he react to this?
Well, one time, okay, we just got married this last November.
Been married for 6 months?
Yeah, but she was unfaithful during the 9 years.
Yeah, during the 9 years.
I see.
So, I mean, when your husband is watching a basketball game, he's seeing the 5 guys from each team run up and down the court. That is as many men as you've been unfaithful with.
Correct. But
kid gloves.
But they're all...
Oh, yeah.
Crown Royal set.
All right, go ahead.
His friends. Because one time, well...
They're all his friends?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
The first time, I, kicked him out just because of... just to be a BI, I guess. So I could be with this guy, and then I can't stand the thought of him being with anybody else but me. I hate it. I cannot even think of that.
Well, let's forget about the specifics of how these things occurred and who they were with and that sort of thing, but let's talk about the whys.
I know, but I'm just trying to tell you that, the first time I left him, I made him leave. I couldn't. As soon as I found out he was with somebody, I moved to another state, and I found out somebody moved in with him. I called him up, and I said, make her move out.
You can't stand it.
And he made her move out.
Yeah.
And
well,
Ursula.
Look.
Ursula, why did you get married?
Because I love him, and I can't be without him. Yeah. But I don't know. I just get...
But, I mean, you can't be without him like a heroin addict can't be without his rig.
I know. That's really sad.
It is. It's not healthy.
It's sad. It sucks. It bums me out because I can't stand the thought of him being with anybody. But
I got that. Are there other kinds of dysfunction in your relationship? Does he struck you or anything of that sort?
No. He's just like... He's too good to me, and I don't know what it is.
So, well, that I think...
Sometimes I always blame it on the fact that...
You were sexually abused when you were a child.
Wrong.
No. What do you blame it on?
That my dad... I've never known my father. And I know that he had 4 girls, right after I was born, and he's completely ignored me my whole life. I'm 33 years old.
Okay, so you need attention from men.
Yeah, and it's just like I crave it.
Yeah, but the fact is, though, when you get it, when there's somebody there and available to you in an intimate way, if he is, which I suspect he is, at least to some degree, you have to sabotage that. You can't stay with it. You can't hang with it. You have to do something to screw it up. It's too painful for you to be actually close to somebody, probably because...
It is. And I put him through hell, and I felt so bad about it. I don't know.
This kind of chaos, you're going to keep raining down on your relationship unless you do something to change you.
Yeah.
I know. I've been going to counseling, and I've been been trying to get my act together.
All right, good.
That's all. I mean, that's it. That's all you can do.
I know, but it's just like sometimes I don't know if it's a sexual thing because I get really turned on when I'm with other guys, but I've never been able to have an orgasm with anybody else but him.
Yeah, but the sexual thing for a lot of people is just a sort of a manifestation of a sickness sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it starts off as a thought and it moves down to your crotch, but you have to sort of nip it somewhere around your neck before it gets downstairs. Well, you're going to counseling now, right?
It sounds like you're doing some things to make change, and that's...
Well, I'm trying to. I'm just being more blunt with you that I can be with my counselor, because face-to-face with somebody is so hard for me
Well,
to
but
out.
You need to have an honest relationship. That's what therapy is about. And the more you can open with that person, the more effective that therapy is going to be. So don't sabotage that, too, all right?
No, I'm trying not to. It's just that it's so hard because
it is
I promised myself after we got married.
Look, Ursula, when you establish that closeness with your therapist, guess what? That same pain that you experience in your closeness with your husband is going to resurface, and you're going to have to deal with that. Right? That's what therapy's about.
I know, but...
So don't keep screwing that up.
Ursula.
Tell me.
Open up to the therapist. Open up to your husband.
Well,
open up to...
because, for one thing...
Ursula.
She's a woman. It's hard for me to open up to a woman.
Look, you have a reason for everything. You're fooling around with on your husband 10 times because your dad didn't give you enough attention. You can't open up to your therapist because she's a woman, and it's a good thing she's a woman.
Right.
Lord knows what would be going on in there. Ursula,
I know how
Ursula, you know the answer. Just open up and get better. Derek.
Yeah, hi. Hi, Adam. Hi, Dr. Drew.
Hey, Derek.
Hey, Derek.
You guys are both geniuses. I've got a couple questions for Dr. Drew.
Huh?
One of them is I need some clarity on the marijuana situation.
All right.
I'm definitely an addict by the way you describe it, but you also say that after 10 years, there's a decrease in...
It tends to. Some people go on and on and on without that happening. But the sort of average syndrome is somewhere between 1 and actually 20 years is sort of the spectrum. The euphoric effects tend to wear off, and people get increasingly depressed with time, and they just sort of switch over because they're used to seeking something to feel better, and they kind of switch over to something else, usually alcohol or speed.
Yeah, I've had that decrease, and I've gone completely off it.
Oh, good. Well, let me a warning, a caveat about that is that for the first 6 months after you stop, there's usually tremendous depression.
Yes.
Tremendous. And, in fact, with an overwhelming amount of suicidal thoughts.
Absolutely. It's also stored in my body fat, and I've been going on a diet.
Well, the pot will come back out with that, but that's not if you're used to being exposed to it every day, that's a nominal amount of pot.
Yeah, a little fat dripping's not going to kill you when you've been sucking on a bong for 20 years.
It's well put. It's the withdrawal from the drug. It's the negative conditioning effects on the brain of being without it that creates these tremendous mood problems, and they go on for about 6 months. So you actually, if somebody's been smoking pot for 10 years, I usually suggest they stop only if they're being supervised by a doctor who understands this stuff.
Yeah, I was worried about that because you said you've always talked about recovery being a corollary to it, and a recovery program, and I've done nothing like that, but I don't feel any urges to do it.
All right. I don't say always or, you have to anything. It's just that, let's say you had a pneumonia that was very serious.
Sure.
And you came to me, and, I advised you to take 7 days or 10 days of a certain antibiotic, and you said, well, I'll take 2 days. Well, you know what? You might get better, but the probability is you'll get worse, or the pneumonia will recur, or you have some serious consequences. But those are your choices.
Derek?
Yeah.
You have another question?
Yeah, the other question is about these penile enlargement surgeries. Do you know about them? Do they actually work, or is that just another...
Didn't I hear the guy that... I guess we can't really talk about this, can we? If somebody's being... Allegedly, somebody out here was in trouble for doing those operations.
Yeah, a doctor who was being indicted for that. Yeah, he had... he worked out of Los Angeles, but he had offices on the East Coast and all over the country.
Wow.
And people would just staff these offices, but none of the surgeries would go on. And people would show up, have a consultation, then they'd fly over to him, and he'd do like 10 surgeries a day or a week or some absurd number. He did 30 or 50,000. This guy has probably added next to 15 miles to the male genitalia if you really unfolded his career. Derek.
Yeah.
So here's the way they do it. They cut that ligament, right?
Oh, is that what they do?
At the base of the penis.
Right.
That's for the lengthening. And the girthening, if that's a word, is they add, they do like a fat injection.
How do you know so much about this? How do you know so much about this?
You know why I've been sick, Doc?
Oh, yeah.
I've been under the knife. There's a guy under the console right now working on my penis.
Does this stuff work?
Well, can I continue?
Yeah, you're an expert.
I should write some kind of. I should author some sort of book.
Yeah.
Your Penis and You by Adam Carolla. Derek, apparently it does add to it, but the thing is the fat doesn't always take. And I know I'm not a doctor, but I've been told, I have doctor friends, more than just Drew, by the way. I'm sorry you're jealous about that, Drew, but I do get outside the studio. And she was telling me that when fat is injected, it needs to be grafted. It needs like a blood supply.
Right.
And so apparently this is just injected into the penis. And there you go. And I don't know if it lasts forever. It does get some length, but then it falls down. It's like you could pull your... like a basketball hoop, out of the ground a little bit, the pole, and you could get another foot out of it, but if a wind came along, it would crush somebody, which is a dream of mine, by the way.
So it's a bad idea, then.
Yeah. I mean, why?
Derek, come on. How you hung?
Pretty poorly.
Yeah, but it's 5.1 now.
Yeah, they keep on lowering it. I'm actually above average now, but I don't buy that. I don't get that reaction.
5.1. What do you mean you don't buy it? I've made wallpaper out of that statistic. Are you kidding? It's all over my bedroom ceiling. I have one of those big flashing signs like they have like at Rockefeller Center or Times Square. 5.1. It just keeps going around.
Tell the women I meet that, because they don't seem to have the same experience there. So
just do a good job on them, Derek. Come on, you know what to do.
I do a good job.
Get down there, would you? All right. And speaking of penises, Gary.
Yeah.
Hey, you're on the Loveline.
Hey, Adam.
Yes.
Apparently that guy Derek must have been seeing his dad when he was little, huh?
Yeah. That was my theory last night.
I'll never forget it.
Right, I was listening to...
Hey, I'm right, aren't I, Gary?
You're exactly
Have you ever seen your dad nude?
Yeah.
When you were young?
Yes.
Biggest penis in the world, right?
Not really.
Really?
Not really.
Oh, geez, that's got to smart.
Yeah. I got two questions.
Yeah.
First one's for Dr. Drew. 2 years ago, I had a vasectomy. And now when I have intercourse with my fiancé, it hurts.
Right.
Tremendously.
Right. I've heard people complain.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes. Bad.
Right in the wheelhouse?
Right in the wheelhouse.
Wow.
Right in there.
Yeah, Mike...
Bad enough to make me bend over.
Mike, the one-nut wonder engineer's not in tonight, so we can't pipe him in and get his input into this one. I'm sorry. But
okay.
Continue.
You said you had two questions.
And the second question is for Adam.
Yes.
What is the fascination with penises?
Well, I'll tell you what it is. I am so secure with my own masculinity that I'm able to speak freely about other penises and my own.
It must also be, if that's your explanation, that you are not secure about any other topic.
Exactly.
Because that's all you talk about.
Well, that's true. This is Loveline. What are we going to talk about? The ozone depletion?
No.
But, Gary, really, every one of these questions, and I don't care what it is, always comes back to the groin.
What?
Because I
For
bring
you?
it there.
Yeah, right.
Well, all right. So which came first, the chicken or the host?
The host.
The host.
All right, Gary.
Gary, see a urologist about that pain. There are some things that can be done sometimes to help with that, all right?
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for making light of my obsession, and we'll be back with Filter after this. Oh, yes, indeed. We are back with the guys from Filter, but let me give the phone number out real fast. 1-800-LOVE-191, 1-800-568-3191. The fax number, 310-578-5622. 854-4455. We're here with Richard Patrick and Brian Leesgang from Filter. And you guys are in the middle of a tour, but you're taking a break now to play a couple of dates.
Yep. We're going to do some shows. We're doing a show in Vegas day after tomorrow, and we play tomorrow at the American Legion Hall.
Which is sold out. So we're not going to dwell on that.
We won't promote it shamelessly.
But where are you guys playing in Vegas?
Area 51 or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, Area 51.
Rich and I had this thing at the beginning of the tour. We get these books called itineraries, tell you where you're going, and we always lose them, like the second day. And so it's like every day when we get off stage, they have a little sign saying you're going to Tucson next or wherever, and we never... That's the only...
Right, but you're on tour. You're just in a drunken, drug-induced stupor, and you go where your handlers tell you to go. Am I right? I know the rock and roll world.
Well,
you got us pegged.
No, that's not entirely true.
All right. I didn't mean to be insulting this fast into the show.
Damn!
Hey, everyone knows rock and roll is just booze, babes, and, blow.
Yeah, and what would radio be? Bad shirts, fat guys, unsightly facial hair, smelly microphones, cold coffee,
etc.
And surly producers. So that's my life.
Surly, good word.
Thank you. I'll try to work it in later on. Now, you guys are on tour with White Zombie.
Yes.
Yep.
So we had Rob Zombie in here, what was it, about 4 months ago or something like that?
About that?
What kind of advice did he offer?
Drew's become my Ed McMahon.
Yes,
you're right. Didn't you think it was weird when Rob just, brought that goat in and, killed it and drank the blood and ate the heart? Didn't that just, freak you out?
Yeah, we're still, you don't even want to know what he did with the testicles. We're still mopping up. There was some kind of big FCC fine that was levied because of that. No, he's a relatively normal guy for a guy named Rob Zombie.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's into, he's got sort of that, persona. He doesn't smile too much, but...
They're really fun to tour with, actually.
Are they?
I mean, you get all this, we played Bristol, Tennessee, some godforsaken place, and I think there were these protesters, Christianity, and
right.
Blah, 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 but there were bomb threats and dogs sniffing out for, stuff around.
Yeah, I would think there would be, an angry lynch mob waiting out.
It's like John, the drummer, and I, we watch, Bulls-Knicks games together. These guys are pretty normal.
But they just don't look normal.
Well,
But you guys are going to Europe with Smashing Pumpkins.
Indeed.
And when is that?
That starts next month, actually.
So that's got to be exciting. You're going to be all over there?
Yeah, we're 8 weeks.
You ever been there before?
Oh, God.
Yes. What's that?
Touring Europe is
you might as well just...
Is it because of the bad toilet paper?
No, ice. Ice.
They don't have ice.
They don't have ice. I could make $1 million if I just
want a warm beer.
Yeah, they have warm, flat beer.
Warm, flat beer, a dirty dressing room with a toilet without a seat. You have to squat over a hole.
It's really weird, the whole bathroom thing in Europe, if you think about it, because they have the bidet.
They have the bidet.
And that's a real advancement. We don't even use the bidet here.
But they don't
don't use toilet paper or have toilet seats.
No.
I think guys are really getting screwed in Europe when it comes to number 2.
I think anyone's getting screwed when it comes to number 2.
In Europe, yeah, definitely.
All right, so we're going to go to the phones, and you guys are going to jump in. And Brian's a philosophy major, so hopefully he can impart some half-baked, Nietzscheism or something to some confused caller. Man. All right, here we go. Jessica.
Hi. This is about the Dr. Kevorkian thing you guys were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There's a case. I'm from Minnesota. And there's a case where an Austin farmer injected his cow with the cancer virus when it was pregnant. And, they took the first milk, that the cow has, and then they gave it to people. And it cured the cancer, and he has, documented this and stuff.
Well, guess what?
What?
First thing is that nobody's ever isolated a virus cancer. A cancer, right?
Well, no, it's
cancer-producing virus. So
he with the tissue.
Yeah, but Doc, this guy's a dairy farmer. Come on, who knows more about biochemistry than a dairy farmer?
I got a car that runs on water.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Whoa, drummer.
Whoa, where's that?
And so what is the point anyway, Jessica?
Well, so what I'm wondering is the AMA and everything was after them and everything, and I'm just wondering.
The AMA is just a group of guys that do have political lobbying.
Play golf and screw around on their wives when Dow sends them to Maui for the weekend.
They have no impact on research or how people conduct themselves. in the practice of medicine. And people have this idea that somehow that physicians are restricted by some organizations. It just isn't the case.
Okay, well, no, it's
Jessica.
Yes.
Jessica.
Yes.
Bat Boy is back.
Jessica, this isn't one of the voices in your head. This voice is coming from the radio. Now listen very carefully.
Listening.
Listen. Cancel your subscription to the Inquirer.
Or the Weekly World News.
Or the Weekly World News, and read a real important paper like USA Today.
Okay.
Or the Christian Science Monitor. Or even a comic book, for Christ's sake. All right?
Okay.
All right. Those are the kind of calls we get.
She's from Minnesota. I grew up there.
Did you really?
I like Minnesota.
Whereabouts?
Rochester.
Wow.
I'm thinking her brain is going to thaw out in another few months, and she'll be back on her feet. Yeah. Janelle?
Janelle.
All right.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
How you doing?
Hi, Filter.
Hey.
How'd you know?
I need some advice from you, fine gentlemen.
Ooh.
I started dating a woman about a month and a half ago, and I'd like to tell my parents, but don't know how to go about doing that.
Don't.
Tough one.
Jeez, I would be horrified.
Especially at 18. Is it important, I mean, to you?
Well, I'm pretty close to my dad, and I don't want to keep it from him.
I mean, there's lots of time to tell him or get used to your new identity. How long have you known you've been gay?
Well, I've been pretty comfortable with the idea of being bisexual since about 9th grade.
But now you're gay.
Well, I don't know.
With women, it's a little less of a commitment than men, people say.
It certainly is. There's nothing in them. It's just a little, grabbing. It's all the nice stuff. It's a commitment when someone sneaks up behind you, That's a commitment. It's always a commitment. Janelle, Here's the deal. And here's what I think the Filter boys are saying. You don't mind me calling you that.
Well, Kenny Dale Johnson, the drummer for Chris Isaac's band, calls us the Two Filters.
Oh, okay.
So you can refer to us as...
Okay, we'll call them the Two Filters. Why tell your dad something or your parents something that, A, they're probably not going to be excited about, and B, may not even be set in stone yet with you? I mean, 5 years from now, you could be married and raising a family, but if you plant the lesbian seed in your dad's head, that's all he's ever going to think of when he sees you.
Now, you've taken an interesting position here. Excuse me, Jill. We're going to take this different sort of direction here with this, because in the past you've said you've taken the position that males who consider themselves homosexual who then go get married are doing something wrong.
Right.
It's just not possible to do that.
That's right.
And we even got some email and faxes about that, people who were concerned they didn't want to be gay, but they were. And I kind of agree with you that if somebody's either gay or they're not, and if they are, to try to force themselves into a heterosexual mold is a disaster. But you seem to think that women can kind of go back and forth.
That's right, like a saloon door.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure that's accurate. Now, Janelle did mention that she may believe herself to be bisexual, so it certainly is a possibility for Janelle. But I think your point is well taken, and that is people do all kinds of things when they're approaching adulthood that may or may not be ultimately who they are, or things that they may do at 18 that they're much more comfortable with when they're 21, so it's not so traumatic to confront important people in your life with the information.
Right.
Why put yourself through it now? There's plenty of time. Take it easy. When the time is right, don't obsess about it. It will in its own way, come about. Okay?
Do you live at home, Janelle?
No.
No, so that's also easier, I mean...
It's a little tough, because can you understand that people who begin to understand themselves as gay really want the important people in their life to see them as they are developing this new sense of self. Mm-hmm. Can you understand that?
Well, yeah.
But don't be in a huge hurry. That's what I'm saying, because people are going to have trouble changing their idea of who you are.
There goes Drew's high horse, by the way.
You don't disagree with me, do you?
No, I don't. No, I understand. You're gay. You want to tell the world, but you just got to keep certain things under your skirt. I was going to say hat, but
we'd all be pretty pathetic if we're the same people we were when we were 18, though.
Yeah, that is true. I was cleaning carpet.
Wait a minute, you just dissed her.
I know, I didn't diss her at all. I'm just saying that
No, but he said we
give
all.
yourself some time to think.
I mean, what kind of weird crap are you into when you're 18? I mean, think about the geeks and nerds that you were.
Stuff,
I was a virgin.
You're a virgin?
Shit, yeah. Oh.
They'll get that out of there.
Sorry about that. Totally.
That's all right. When did you lose your virginity?
Oh man, no, I did. Didn't
Open up the floodgates, Richard.
No, I was a really, I was a late bloomer. Just didn't happen until I was 18 and a half.
But now you're on tour making up for it.
You're darn right.
You're on a quite a pace, aren't you?
It's life's been good.
Yeah. Okay. So you're so
whatever.
You're single, right?
I'm not one of those rock and roll type, but
right. But you're a man.
Yeah.
And let me explain something about men very quickly before we go to break. A lot of people think there's something different about something happens magically when a guy has some celebrity, whether he's in a rock band or having a TV show or movie career. They go, what's wrong with all these guys, playing about and doing this and that? They're the same guys. They're just doing what they can do. I mean, it's the same guy who's working at the Circle K who can't get any, now is being hounded by groupies.
Let's not go that far.
Come on.
I have to agree, man. Success is when preparation meets opportunity. The guy at the Circle K may be prepared. He has his Hustler magazine, but he doesn't have the opportunity.
4 years of philosophy and that's it?
That's it, bro. It was 3 years.
And we'll be back with more Filter after this. Well, this is Loveline. I'm Adam Carolla. He is Dr. Drew. They are the lads from Filter.
The lads are back from the bathroom.
Richard Patrick and Brian Leesgang. And let me give the phone number out, 1-800-LOVE-191. The fax number, 310-854-4455. And let's talk about this CD, Short Bus.
Uh-huh.
I happen to like that name. Now, a lot of people may not get the inference. Short Bus is basically the bus that the retarded kids ride on. And why it's shorter, I don't know. Maybe there's not as many retarded kids as there are regular kids. I don't know. And I know it sounds like a cruel subject, but it was always kind of a joke. Like when I was in high school and stuff, I was like, yeah, he's waiting for the short bus.
You're the people we're trying to fight against.
You're trying to educate people like me?
Yeah, well, not educate, just look at a guy named Stephen J. Hawking.
Right, the
prominent physicist.
Right, wrote that wonderful book explaining the universe.
Explaining the universe.
What about him?
Pontificate on the subject, please.
Well, a guy like this discovers black holes but can't fix himself breakfast. Therefore, he's special. He's on the short bus. Therefore, we respect the short bus.
Right, but for every one of him, there's about 300.
But there's about, you can take it either way. I mean, personally, whatever. Look at in print.
Look at what?
It looked good in print.
Yeah, so. And it's a kind of it's a fun name, and as long as you're not, do you get letters and things like that from?
Actually, no.
No.
You don't?
No.
Maybe that's bad.
We thought we didn't. Yeah, well.
All we have to do is say it's the celebration of the different, which it is.
Right.
And we don't get any flack.
Well, that's what really Loveline is all about. The celebration of the different. And speaking of different, Trey.
Yes.
You're different?
I'm different.
You're on Loveline.
All right. Well, I have three things, really. First of all, I'd like to say to Dr. Drew that I think he's way off base on the idea that the liberals are opposed to assisted suicide.
Okay. Oh, of course he is.
Yes.
He missed the mark by a mile.
Well, then maybe it is everybody is just in favor of it.
Oh, well,
that may be the case. Because it worries to me that. Well, I don't know. I really am talking from a place of no knowledge.
Right. Anyway, Trey,
everybody I talk to is in favor of it. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Well, I think you can't divide things into liberal and conservative anymore. It's just too blurred.
You know what? I really agree with Trey. That really is kind of my point in talking to you about that. Is that everybody's kind of in favor of it.
All right. This isn't the McLaughlin report, though, Trey. Let's go. What's the problem? You have a problem with your penis?
All right. I also have a couple questions for you. One is, what is Hey Man, Nice Shot about?
Oh.
I've heard rumors that it's like about, well, not rumors, but suggestions that it's about Kurt Cobain.
Oh yeah, see, this is the problem with rumors. See, the thing is I wrote that song's lyrics a year and a half before he tried it the first time, and I remember the day that it happened. Like a week later, my brother Robert called me up and he said, "Geez, people are going to think that Hey Man, Nice Shot's about Kurt Cobain," and I never really thought about it because the song was a year and a half old, and it really disturbed me because, you know, some of the letters that I got, like in the email, you know, right as the record came out, a lot of it was like, well, I don't know why you're talking about Kurt Cobain like that, but I still like the song. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold on here. So I had to really bug everyone at the record company to just try and get as many newspapers to print that it was just not about Kurt Cobain.
It was really about Freddie Prinze?
No, dude.
Who was it? I heard it was about that politician.
Wasn't about that Chapman guy either.
Politician that shot himself in front of
in front of the TV crew or on television.
Yeah, basically what happened was I was inspired by several things. This guy, when I was 17, this guy held a press conference because he felt that he was being misunderstood by the government and the judicial system. And he decided that the only way to solve his problems and the problems of the government and everything else was to hold a press conference and end his life. And I just thought to myself, well, what does it take to be able to do that? What does it take to be able? How far against the wall do you have to be to do something like that? Or
I'd say right up against it. I think that's actually your ass is probably into the wall, probably pressed up against the insulation.
And the other thing was the kamikaze pilot, just that whole mindset of just, geez.
Yeah, I know. Could you imagine? I mean, it's real like noble and stuff, and you see it in the movies, but these guys would have their, shot of sake and climb into these planes that were just stuffed full of explosives and just aim it
Need a couple
at
bottles
a
of
carrier.
sake before that.
I mean, could you?
Oh, that's weird.
But
yeah, I need some like California roll and stuff too. I would not, and some like eel and everything. I would not get on that plane.
But they believed though they were being martyred, and they were really entering a kingdom of heaven was just by doing it.
Right.
They believed that.
Weird.
Right.
If you really believed that at the end of the explosion you'd wake up in some nirvana,
right,
you might think about it.
Right, instead of painted on the side of a carrier.
Right.
But the thing is so this politician had a news conference, sat there, put a gun in his mouth, and blew his brains out on television. Yeah. And they showed it, too,
for kids.
Basically.
They showed
family program.
In Cleveland, they showed the whole thing.
They did. God bless the executives in television. You watch one of these movies like Conan on TV. They show 140 guys being decapitated. There's one quick breast shot in the whole frickin' movie, and they got to cut it out. But what the hell are we thinking about in this society? It doesn't take a philosophy major to figure this one out, does it, Brian?
Not that I can fathom.
Bunch of pent-up...
Pencil prick fools.
That's right, and you can say it. Say it again.
Pencil pricked fools.
All right, now you're getting a little full of yourself now, so relax.
All right, keep riling me.
Now, speaking of nice shot, man.
Yeah.
We're going to play that song.
Oh.
And we're going to play it right now. Well, the feel-good song of the year. Break it out around the holidays, everybody. Nice Shot by Filter, and we'll be back.
Hi, this is Tony Bennett, and you're listening to Loveline with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew.
All right, we're back with the boys from Filter, Richard Patrick and Brian Leesgang, and we're going to get in, I think we can get in a quick call before we go to the 10-second ID at the top of the hour. Mike?
Yeah.
You're on Loveline.
Hey, Adam. Hey, Dr. Drew.
Mike?
Hey.
Hey, Filter. I had a question for Dr. Drew.
Yeah, Mike.
What exactly is a dental dam? I've heard of that before.
Dental dam is basically a sheet of latex. You can create your own dental dam by taking a dry condom and just cutting the tip off and then cutting along the axis of the tube.
Yeah, make sure and take it off your penis first.
Yeah, it should not be applied.
Could be very dangerous.
Yeah, no knives when applied. And you have a sheet of latex, and you lay that over any mucosal surface, any body surface where there could be fluids.
So that's for, like, safe sex, then?
That's a safe sex technique, yeah.
Yeah. I like to poke a couple of holes in it so I can breathe. That's just me. and Drew, should we do the dental dam joke?
Which one? I've already forgotten it.
Oh, this is my best joke.
What?
sometimes you have to go through the dam to get to the beaver. You guys like that kind of humor, don't you?
We're having a lot of fun.
Yes.
I do know now why I forgot the joke.
Yes, you pushed it out of your mind, Drew, like all my good humor. Falling on deaf ears. Jennifer.
Hi. Well, first I have something to say to Filter.
Hello?
Hi, Rich.
Yeah.
I just want to say that...
I'm pregnant.
Huh?
No, okay, go ahead.
I'm pregnant with your child, Rich, remember? No,
oh, Christ. That's all I need right now.
No, I just want to say that you're really attractive, and I saw you on the Fashionably Loud show.
Oh, boy.
And I heard that you had squirted water on a...
How did you hear that?
Who told you that?
17 magazine.
17
Someone
magazine.
got it out.
Yeah, I was, real happy to be there. And
she was all chasing you with like a bottle or a glass of champagne.
Yeah.
Clutching a bottle of white wine.
Now, what happened? What'd you do to Naomi Campbell?
I just, if you've ever seen a Filter concert, it's all about the mosh pit, and it's all about just having fun. And, just watching these women walk around, it just...
I saw you eyeing a couple. You're like, mm-hmm.
No, I wasn't.
Oh, don't even lie.
The thing was, the thing that really irritated me is that, here we were talking about, our boudoir or Hey Man, Nice Shot. Well, Under is about doing
acid.
Yeah.
One song's about suicide, one's about acid, and you got Kate Moss strolling around in a skimpy little...
I mean, I enjoyed, hanging out with Chris Isaac and all those guys.
Yeah.
And I like the people from MTV, but it was a very strange circumstance for us. And I just felt like doing it, and I did. It was like I was pseudo...
You hosed her down.
You lashed out, didn't you?
They give me 30 minutes on stage sometimes, and I just do whatever I want.
And was she pissed off? Or she...
Completely.
Oh, really?
Oh, she was very ticked off. And the thing is, the designer, Mark Jacobson, was just like, whatever.
Right. She was pissed off because it got on her dress?
She's never been hosed down on a runway before.
I don't know. Maybe I'm generalizing, and I hope I don't mean to be...
go bash all supermodels.
But the thing is, that this woman has had everything hand-fed to her at some point all through her life.
Right.
Because of her beauty. And I think that's, it's wonderful to be beautiful, and it's wonderful for her to be this knockout woman, but at the same time, it does not make her any better than anyone else.
But once in a while, you need a guy in a band to bring you down to earth. Right, regurgitating on you while you're on a rant. And we'll be back in 10. All right, I'm going to do what we call resetting in the radio business. The phone number, 1-800-LOVE-191. The fax number, 310-854-4455. The name of the show is Loveline. I'm Adam Carolla. He is Dr. Drew. He's a board-certified physician, addiction medicine specialist. And tonight, our guest is Filter, Richard Patrick and Brian Lee's gang. And when we left off, you were talking about penis whipping Naomi Campbell in front of a shocked crowd and her parents. What was that?
Someone actually thought that I was eye raping girls.
Eye raping?
Eye raping.
That's I think only Marty Feldman could have done that.
See, the thing is...
The truth is, you couldn't see at the time after 3 bottles of vodka.
In all honesty, I was so just focused on singing the notes of the damn song.
Trying to stand up,
But I was just so focused on singing it because it's a Hey Man, Nice Shot. I'll tell you, that's a pretty hard song to sing.
Yeah, it's got to take it out of you. And you're doing it, how many times a month? How many times a year? When you're out on tour and everything.
That day we had to rehearse it 4 times because of the camera crew and all that, which I wasn't aware of. And so by the time we had actually done it, I had sang that song, I think it was like 6-7 times.
What is it we're talking about here?
We're talking about
the Fashionably Loud.
The Fashionably Loud on MTV when
Richard
Richard
threw
battery acid.
What is Fashionably Loud?
It's this new idea MTV had. They thought it'd be a great idea if we take, there's fashion and music. So we'll take some bands and we'll have them have models walk
around. So he wrote this song about Kurt Cobain snuffing
himself. No, man. Wait a minute. Wait. You're the guys that get me in trouble with that.
He took a 12-gauge shotgun.
No, man.
You seen those autopsy photos?
I've had it. No, I haven't. Have you?
Yeah, they're on the
Really?
net. Yeah.
Where'd you? Oh, they're on the net.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm not really interested in the macabre or the morbid. I just it gives me. I have bad dreams.
You're on tour with White Zombie, man.
Oh, okay. Because I see like some Animal Duty or something, and I'm up for a week. I'm very easily disturbed. So I don't want to see like just a. Well, I don't want to get into it. But the point is these supermodels need to be knocked off their high horse. Am I right?
Passe, done, over.
Okay.
Next call.
All right. Danny?
Yeah.
Hey, you're on Loveline.
Oh, right on. You want to shout out to Filter, say hey.
Hey.
Hello, guys. I have two questions. Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. One, my first question would be, back in 1988, I got married, and in 1990, we got separated. And we filed for a divorce, but the papers never got put in. And now, since it's 1996, I cannot find this gal to be able to get this divorce. And I want to know, is there any way that I can legally, if I can't get a divorce legally without finding her, but is there anything else I can do?
Let's ask our panel of lawyers. The hell do we know about this?
Now you got to call a lawyer.
You need a private detective.
These guys are in a
man.
band. This other guy's got his finger up old people's rectums all day, and I'm napping. What do we know about the law?
At least call a legal aid society. Maybe they can help you out. I think it's a question that should be, or a clerk of a court even. I would think there'd be somebody that could answer this question, or at least send you in the right direction pretty easily.
So basically, I'm kind of out of luck with.
Is that what I said? Is that what I said?
Boy, the glass is half full, isn't it, Danny?
Yeah.
Danny, he just told you to go out and seek some advice. He didn't tell you whether you could find her or whether it was legally binding or anything.
I think there must be somebody that can tell you exactly what you need to do to get out of this marriage.
Okay, now, also second question. My last relationship, I was with this gal for about 8 months.
Oh, it's always you, isn't it, Danny? What about the guys from Filter?
We were pretty sexual active. I mean, we were,
sexual active.
Very sexual active, at least once to 3 times a day. And we did several experiments, like through bondage and whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on.
No,
Drew.
whatever.
No. Relax. Yes, bondage?
Yeah, we tried that, too. But anyhow.
What is that accent? Where are you calling from?
From the bottom of a well.
And now I'm in this current relationship that we've been together now for roughly a year now, and we're not as sexual as active. I mean, I don't have. We may have sex like maybe twice a week.
Danny.
What's the problem?
Danny, let me explain to you something. You ever seen that show Schoolhouse Rock?
No.
Okay. All right. I think you've answered my question.
Well, I'm 29 years old, so I wonder if that has to deal with
old enough to speak the Queen's English. I'll tell you that, Danny.
Conjunction, function.
What's your function? Screwing up phrases like sexual active.
Well, I just wanted to know if there's anything to deal with the age on that, or it might be the relationship.
Read more porno, man.
Danny?
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself a very sexually person?
Oh, I did a year ago. I want to know if there was anything medically or anything might be to deal with relationship-wise.
I'm going to say yes. Guys, Danny, I got to be honest with you. No one's heard a word you said.
Get past.
We're all getting punchy over here.
I bet.
Somebody opened up a ether balloon, and this show spun out of control. Danny, you seem like a good guy. Good luck with the divorce. Have fun with the bondage, and just make sure no one takes an eye out. Well, you can see what we're dealing with here.
Oh, man.
You guys get
this is making the White Zombie crew look like a Mensa meeting. All right. Where were we, Drew? We're going back to the phone. Okay, Drew's pointing. You got a good feeling about this one?
I hope so.
Chuck!
Yeah.
How's the grammar?
All right.
All right. Good. Grandpa's fine, too. Good.
At this point, I'm not very sexual active.
Good.
That guy was smart. Anyway, I just wanted to say hi to you guys. What's going on?
Chuck.
I have a question for Dr. Drew.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My girlfriend went off the pill about a little over a month ago, and we've been using protected sex and
what have you been doing?
Just condoms.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's like a week and a day late.
Like, she just stopped the pill. It takes about 6 months often to establish normal cycling again.
Okay, see, that's what I wanted to ask, because, you know, she's kind of freaking out. I'm trying to stay low, you know, lay low about it. And be supportive.
You're using a condom, right?
What's that?
You're using a condom? Is that what you said?
Yeah, well, we haven't even...
Chuck, what do you mean lay low?
We've been laying real low.
You like to hold up in some motel or something? Cut the phone wires, cancel the credit cards.
Wait, did you say you haven't even had sex?
Well, we have. I'm just saying, like, in the last week, it's just been like, we were kind of freaking out here, because normally she was really regular. Like,
all right. And then when you're on the pill, you're going to be regular because the pill makes you regular.
Right.
And it takes a while
for change in the hormone levels, etc.
Yeah, it's going to take a while.
Yeah. So, like, how long should we wait till, you know, we should be really concerned about this?
Just go take a test.
Yeah, we'll get a urine pregnancy test. I mean,
2 weeks?
That's about 2 weeks out. That's accurate. I mean, wait another week and get a urine pregnancy test.
I hate that time.
Wait another week?
Yeah, wait another week and then do it. But look, it's probably just the... Let me ask you this. You're using a condom, right?
Yeah.
It's not failed. It's not broken. Nothing's happened to the condom.
Well, actually, no. Listen. One broke, and we knew it right away. And this was like way prior to ejaculation, so I didn't even do my thing. I just totally stopped, and that was that. So, and I know there's a pre-cum factor or whatever, but like there was no. Like, I didn't ejaculate in her.
Okay, all right. So it's unlikely, very unlikely. Give it another week.
I keep telling her that it's
Chuck, very unlikely. Another week. Take a urine pregnancy test from the pharmacy and take it easy. Don't worry.
Chuck.
Yeah.
Let me give you some good advice here.
Give me some, Adam.
She's probably not pregnant, right?
Well, that's what
probably not.
That's probably true.
That's what we're hoping for.
Now, don't act like it during the 2 weeks or the extra week that you're waiting. Meaning, give that whole rap of whatever you want to do. I'm behind you 100%. I'll be there if you want. And then if she's pregnant, you can kind of try to weasel your way out of stuff later. Now, I don't mean to be a bad example, but the worst thing you can do as a boyfriend is start arguing over what should be done and I'm not going to pay for and, all this kind of crap. And then it turns out she's not pregnant because you will be cut off for life at that point.
I've been totally supportive.
All right, good rap.
And I know that this is pretty common. I was just
right. All right, keep up. Yes.
And how effective are those the urine tests?
They're pretty accurate. About 2 weeks.
Yeah, but you got to hit the stick. Jason.
Yeah.
By the way, I want to compliment Richard. Richard from Filter, because we have this thing, I got to tell you, whenever a band comes in here, I have to explain to them it's important to sit upright and talk into the microphone, because after about 10 minutes, their feet are up on Drew's head, they're leaning back, nursing a bottle of Jack and a cigarette, and they're like, they're good 40 feet away from the mic. So I tell that to the guys from Filter. Now, Richard has really taken my, because he has, like, inhaled the microphone. So Richard goes, yeah, all right, I'll stay up on the mic, and he's actually, like, committing oral sex with the microphone, and I'm not bashing you. I really, Drew, am I right?
No, he actually he appreciates and repeats to me how much he appreciates.
He does it for a living. This guy
mic,
sucks a mic 6 nights a week.
All right, so he knows.
And he gets 5,000 to 10,000 kids screaming and then encouraging him. He's going to keep doing it even if there's no one there.
No, that's good.
It's
good.
Habit at this point. The mic is in my mouth. Now, there's nothing I can do about it.
Now, there's nothing to the fact that it's black. That doesn't make it different.
Oh, man.
It's big, too.
We really need like a penis-colored windsock on top.
Jason, are you there?
Yeah.
All right, what can we do for you?
Hi, Adam. Hi, Dr. Drew.
Hey.
I have a question for Filter about the Macintosh that you recorded your album on.
Which is really broken right now, and we are really mad
finding
at
itself flying out of 4-story windows.
But we do love...
Yeah, about the particular machine. No, actually, you were going to record on a PowerBook or something. I was wondering how that program...
Is that true?
What sort of peripherals you need?
You can't really do it on a PowerBook. You need like a Mac. I know this is a sex-related question.
It is.
No, you feel free to talk as
Scuzzy
long
in,
as you
Scuzzy
want.
out. You need like a Mac and some DigiDesign software and hardware and a bunch of too expensive stuff to run it. But I don't know. Actually, with the Power Mac, you can record at home. It's easy.
So is it getting to the point where you're not going to have to go in?
Oh, it is.
We never do.
That's us. Right
we
there.
recorded our whole record at home.
At home?
Yeah.
Yeah, at home.
On what kind of computer?
On a Macintosh.
What kind?
It was a Quadra 650 at the time.
So now like a Performa or something? Is that?
Well, when we get the new one, after we blow this one up, yeah.
And how does it? I mean, how does it work physically?
It's big, huge digital.
You sit there with the
tape
guitar with a mic, and it just goes right into the computer, and you see the waveform on the screen, and you can do whatever you want.
Complicated than that. It's there is a soundboard, there is a microphone, there has to be an amplifier, there is a guitar.
Just instead of going to tape, you go to a computer.
Right, and then you guys can mix it. And you don't need an engineer?
No,
not till we mix it.
At some stage, yeah, we lay it all to tape, and then we mix it. But at the actual tracking, writing, and recording is all done with this tiny little studio that we have called the Midgets.
Wow. And acoustically, everything's the same, though, right? I mean, you have to be in a room. You couldn't be in like
a
different
vibe. You don't get that A&M studio vibe, or that big sound that some people desire in some kind of schlock way. But you capture our lives. I don't know. Like, it sounds like our apartment.
It's an interesting historical sort of footnote here. I mean, we're talking to people that make music in their home, and the country consumes it. Right. In the old days, they had to, practice spend weeks in Tahiti or wherever that is.
3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Yeah. It's so lifeless doing it that way. I mean, we like to, we have these studios in the back of a van. We drive out to the mountains, or we go down to the beach, or wherever the hell we feel like working.
That's so amazing.
Wow. And I have a computer. I can't do anything with it.
You got to do a radio show from your Mac.
I wish I could. Just talking to the keyboard?
Yeah, just talk right into the keyboard.
Right, I'm going to try that tonight, man. Seriously?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll teach you how.
All right. Drew, you want to pick another call? I just like to watch him point, doesn't it? It's like one of the kids on the short bus, and then he just points. He never says anything. Justin?
Yeah.
You're on Loveline.
Yeah, I have a question for Dr. Drew.
Yeah, Justin.
See, my fiance is like 7 months pregnant, and she recently read that it's harmful for the baby if we have sex.
I don't believe that's true. I know there's concern about it, particularly if she's having preterm labor. Does she have any problems that way?
No.
It's been a totally normal pregnancy?
It's been perfect.
As I understand it, it is relatively safe. So I don't think you have to be too concerned about it.
And it said that it can, in the last 2 months, it can cause a premature labor.
Right. It can induce, exactly. And that if she's having preterm labor, we call it, then you don't want to do it. She wants to stay down and take it easy and not stimulate anything.
Drew's saying blowjob. But is that code for that?
No, that's saying not don't even draw the curtains, keep her quiet. Seriously, there's a point at which you have to be very, very careful. But for most pregnancies that are going well, I don't think that there's a problem. But she ought to talk to her gynecologist, obstetrician, okay?
But what about the psychological implications? I mean, it's really to me.
Okay, what are they?
Well, to the child, it's like you're having sex with your kid in the room. Except, you're having sex with your kid in the womb. It's like what Barbara Walters how she would describe it. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
that's cool.
What? Are we talking about the same guy?
Rowdy mom.
Justin?
Yeah.
Your pregnant wife likes to tie you up?
Yeah. She's kind of dominant.
Does she beat you?
I have a hard time getting her to, but...
Whatever, Justin. Just take care of the kid, Justin. Will you? Create a new focus in your life. You have a family now.
Good luck with the kids.
God.
Wow.
I'm back to my legislation for testing at age 30 to decide if somebody's ready to have kids.
I'm back to my superhuman screening program where you guys would like this, unless you can do the quarter mile in under 20 minutes, you're out. You're off the planet. I mean, unless you were Vietnam veteran, you got no leg or something, then we'll raise it like 25 minutes. But I'm saying let's thin the herd, do you know what I mean?
We need a cut.
You know about Darwin and philosophy?
Yeah, we need a cut.
Natural order of selection.
Can you imagine this poor guy, his kids, like at age 5? I'm sorry, my dad can't come to the phone. Mom's beating the crap out of him in the next room. He'll call you back when he's done licking his wounds. It's a sick world we live in. Adam.
Yes.
You're on Loveline.
Hi, Dr. Drew.
Hey, Adam.
Say hi to the filter, guys.
Hi, Filter.
Yeah.
Poor Adam's been waiting about an hour and a half.
Oh, really?
That's okay. You guys are funny.
Hour and a half.
My question is for Dr. Drew.
Yeah.
Me and my fiance, we were discussing about family genes and genetically linked disorders and addictions, other things.
Right.
And one of them was alcoholism, because it runs in her side of the family and my side. But neither her or I neither of us.
You skipped a gene.
Right.
You're not using.
Skipped a generation.
Well, you're not
Why
using.
not?
You're not using. Anyway, but so what's your question?
Right, and we recently had a daughter, and we were wondering if it was going to skip and to her. And
no, it doesn't. The disease may skip, but the genes don't skip. In other words, you have to have the predisposition. The only way it appears that the gene is skipping is if somebody doesn't manifest the disease during their lifetime in spite of carrying the genetic predisposition, which does happen.
All right,
people have such a, for instance, somebody sees their dad die of alcoholism. They are so horrified by that they never touch alcohol.
Right.
Usually that person will marry an alcoholic, by the way, but they could be an alcoholic
But
themselves.
they carry the gene.
They carry the gene. They have a child. 50% of their children will be alcoholic.
Right. So the gene didn't really skip a generation.
The disease just didn't manifest.
Right. It didn't take.
Right.
So now, you guys don't know whether you have the gene or whether it didn't take.
Right.
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 So.
And it sounds like you don't have it. I mean, frankly, but if you don't have it, you don't have it.
Well, you know how you test for that.
Have a cocktail, man.
Well, interestingly,
That's sound advice.
There are some recent publications that suggest in the sons of alcoholic fathers, if you are highly resistant to the motor intoxicating effects of alcohol, it's highly predictive of having the alcoholic effects. If you're somebody that can drink somebody under the table, and your dad was an alcoholic, you are an alcoholic, even if the disease hasn't manifested yet.
That sounds like some kind of drunken patriot group or something. Yes, we're the sons of alcoholic fathers. We're going to be meeting next week.
With the Daughters of the American Revolution.
yeah, that's what. All right, they should like have a softball game with the Daughters of the American Revolution
and the Sons of Italy.
And we'll be back with more Filter after this. Hey, we's back here on Loveline with Dr. Drew and Richard Patrick and Brian Leesgang from Filter. And let me give the phone number out, 1-800-LOVE-191. The fax number, 310-854-4455. Fax is like this. I just wanted to tell you guys in Filter that I love your music even more now that I've heard what cool guys you are as people. A little redundant, but okay. And to the guy, that would be Richard, who soaked Naomi. You go, dude! So we have, you made a fan. And now it's time to go back to the phones. John!
Yes.
You're on Loveline.
Yes, I have a question. Can you get AIDS from giving oral sex to a female?
Theoretically, yeah, you can.
You can?
Theoretically.
Do you have to use the oral dam, whatever?
You got to use that dental dam. Any exchange of fluid, any mucosal contact is a potential route of transmission.
Has anyone ever gotten AIDS through?
I don't know that's been documented. I know that in Britain they're questioning the validity of considering that a risk behavior. I think it's safest just to look at the general concept that any fluids that you're contacting could potentially do it. So avoid the contact if you can. I mean, none of these things are totally safe, but you want to reduce the risk as much as you can if you really believe you're at risk.
How do you use the oral dam?
It's like a sheet of saran wrap. You just lay it down over anything you're going to contact.
A lot of fun, huh?
You know, I'll tell you basically how you use it, John. You know, like when you're in a car and the heater's on and the windows are rolled up and one of your buddies passes gas and you pull your T-shirt up over your nose. You go, oh, Christ, come on, Lou, for Christ's sake. And he's screwing with you because you got power windows, and he puts the lock thing on, and then he cranks the heater up a little more, and you're like, oh, for the love of Christ. That's what you do. It's like pulling the shirt up over your nose, like you're going to hold something up, basically. Am I right? Yeah, you put it in front of your mouth. Drew's right. But here's what I got to say about that. I have enough trouble navigating that area, negotiating that very intricate area of a female. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's tough enough to figure out what's going on down there.
Then you got to go look for the saran wrap.
Now you got to go with a latex over your tongue.
Right, it's like you're already in a maze. Now you got a hefty bag over your head and someone spun you around.
How do you breathe?
You're never getting out. Or in. You know what I'm saying, John?
Yeah, I do.
All right.
Thanks.
All right.
I'd like to hear this one. This looks interesting. We should have done a whole for an hour and a half, too.
Angie.
Hey.
Hey.
My question's about cocaine.
Yeah?
This customer, told me that cocaine really, in the street, that what people buy isn't really cocaine. It's, lidocaine.
Lidocaine, they mix lidocaine in very often. Or they'll put lidocaine and speed together or something like that.
But it is part cocaine?
Usually.
What does the word cane mean? Because you hear Novocaine,
right.
lidocaine.
The canes are a particular family of compounds. I don't know that I can talk intelligently about what makes them, what common elements they have. They're anesthetics typically.
Okay. I think it means expensive in Latin.
They act by decreasing. I forgot. I'm not going to be able to talk intelligently about it. But what is your concern?
Well, is it more dangerous than just straight cocaine, or
no?
Is it the same, or
it's the same?
That's just what gives you the edginess. Or
no, the lidocaine is what makes your nose go numb,
Uh-huh.
and makes you believe you're using cocaine.
Okay.
Angie.
Yeah.
Good luck with the habit. How much is cocaine a gram these days? You guys are in a band. I mean, I know you send your lackeys out to score. I know that you're sniffing it off nipples of supermodels, but is there ever any price involved with that?
I have no idea.
Besides the heavy emotional burden one has to pay? Because it used to be it was $100, and then it was up to $110, maybe $120, and maybe in the early 80s or mid 80s when it was sort of at the height of its popularity, or even mid or late 80s, and then it seemed to have dropped down quite a bit.
All I know is that they've undercut it with speed. That speed is so much longer acting, so much less expensive, so much more available, so much more widely distributed that most people are using that drug now. And then I'm also hearing that ecstasy is making a big comeback, at least here in Southern California. Big comeback, which surprises me.
Well, really?
Yeah.
Well, and Steve Miller's coming to town soon, so everyone's making a comeback here in L.A. Lori.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Good. All right.
Good. I just want to tell you guys this is a great show, and I think you're doing a huge service to America by educating a lot of ignorant people.
Wow.
A little self-righteous, aren't we?
She can climb up my high horse with me. It's fine.
All right, Lady Godiva, what's going on?
Well, what's going on is I'm sitting here with my girlfriend. We're trying to study. Obviously, it's not working. And I have a problem. It's not really a problem. Actually, I am attracted to one of my teachers. He's not really a teacher. He's a teacher's assistant.
Does that mean, are you in graduate school or something?
No.
Is he in graduate school?
Yes, he is.
So he's just assisting in a lab or something?
Exactly. He's my lab instructor. Yeah. And, of course, he's in charge of my grades.
What are you studying?
Biology, molecular and cellular biology.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Been there.
Wow.
Fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I remember those days. I failed biology in high school, and by the way, only could take science, which somehow was a lot easier in biology. That would not let me back into biology.
Forget it.
Lori?
It wouldn't let you back in? That's too bad.
Yeah, well, I didn't want back, really, either. You're not chomping at the bit after you fail a class. But anyway, Lori, it's become too cathartic now.
Okay, well, anyway, I'm very, very attracted to him, and it's distracting me in class.
When is the semester over?
In May.
May.
I've considered asking him out, but I'm not sure if I should wait until this semester's over. I don't want him to think that I'm trying to sneak a good grade.
Right.
It's
kind of interesting, because if he were really your teacher, if that were his profession, it would be an inappropriate boundary for him to pass. But he's kind of a colleague. He's kind of a peer.
Yeah,
he's just functioning a little bit different role in your situation there.
Exactly.
I would think you could date the guy.
How would you go about asking him out, though?
That I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any suggestions, Adam?
Tell him you got a Petri dish in your pants and you want him to have a little look
Contaminated
at it.
a little bit.
Adam,
It's the only biological term I knew.
Well, keep it to yourself.
See, Adam, you're pretty good at biology.
Yeah, say, hey, big boy, why don't you come over here and dissect my crotch?
That's funny? Is that funny?
Scalpel down there, but big guy.
I think that's a little too crude for
All right.
if I can handle that.
You're a classy broad, huh?
Well, Lori, do you have any? Can you hang out at the end of lab or anything? Sort of be the last one to leave, that sort of thing.
I've tried that, but for some reason, I'm very outgoing. But
Is this the Drosophila studies and that sort of thing you're doing?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah, okay, Drew, why don't you just start speaking French so I really can't get involved?
Let me translate. Fruit flies.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
You guys are looking into this, huh? All right. Well, go tell him. Go ask him out before your fruit rots on the vine.
I think it's reasonable. I think Lori, you'll find a way. Keep hanging out late at the end of class. That he'll get the message. Maybe he'll even ask you out. Okay.
You think I should do it now or wait?
No, I think you should keep hanging out late at the end of class.
And let me tell you,
then, people hang out at the end of a lab. I mean, haven't been in a million labs in my day. People just kind of hang out and chat at the end of labs, and it's sort of you sort of end your academic session and begin a sort of a socializing, sort of a winding down, and that's a way to get to know somebody. You'll know whether or not he's interested through that. Okay.
Okay, great.
Right. What do you figure his graduated cylinder goes up to?
Oh, good. You do know that.
I do know more about biology than I like to let on. But, yeah, I think a girl, well, we're all guys here. We can talk about, I mean, you know when a girl likes you.
And turn your mic on quick. When he starts talking like this, it's kind of scary.
But
so stand by.
Producer Ann.
Yeah?
If you liked the guy, and the guy was straight and the guy was single, and you hung out after class and you sort of made a little small talk and established a lot of eye contact and asked a lot of questions and did that whole posture thing you chicks do, he would catch on, wouldn't he?
Yes.
If he was interested.
If a woman wants to make a point, she can.
Right.
It's very easy to let a guy know.
Right. Now, you wouldn't have to ask a guy out.
Yeah, but some guys are pretty thick that way. They're not tuning into that, especially in that kind of an environment. You know what I mean?
He's an academic. He may be...
Oh, yeah. Like, wow, it must have really been hot because she took her top right off. I hope she's okay.
You'd think he picked up on the signals, though.
Yeah. I mean, what I'm saying is, Ann, you could get a guy to ask... You could send the message to ask you out without saying so many words.
Right.
Quite easily. Now, whether he does it or not, that remains to be seen.
So what you're saying is there's a suspicion you have that he's not interested. Because if you had the clues there, you'd be able to pursue them.
Well, he's in a biology class, so he could be gay. But I like to make blanket statements, especially when there's things I haven't been involved with. That's why I failed. Too much testosterone. They tossed me right out of it.
Right.
But the point is no, he could be gay, or he could be married, or she could not have started spinning her web.
Sufficiently.
Yeah, as I like to say.
Stay with the biological images.
Lay it down. Women shouldn't have to ask, just show. Oh, great. I just pressed the hold button. Drew, what call do you want?
You pick one.
I got a cough.
This is Stacy. Stacy, how you doing?
Oh, great, guys. First of all, I just wanted to say that I wanted to congratulate Producer Ann and all your call screeners because nobody ever even thinks about them. And as well, congratulations to you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Although Adam does make a point of thanking them every night. Yeah. We are appreciative, believe me.
Good.
You got a question, or you just want to give kudos?
No, I have a question. My boyfriend and I have been together for about 3 years now, and I am very interested in the idea, as well as he is about having a threesome, and his birthday is coming up. Yes. His birthday is coming up, and, my question is, how do I go about finding someone? I mean, you don't publicly announce this and put it on a bulletin board.
Aren't you kind of doing that now?
maybe we better stop you before we get into
syndicated radio
the planning phase and ask some sort of groundwork questions that may divert you from your course.
It's for his birthday, by the way.
Yeah, by the way.
Hallmark should have a card. So, you'd like to bang one of my friends and me.
Do you really care about your boyfriend?
Yes, I do.
Do you want to remain with him?
Yes, I do.
Do you want the relationship to work?
Yes.
Don't have the threesome.
That's what a lot of people tell me, and I'd like to know why.
Because intimate physical contact generates feelings that you cannot predict based on the fantasy. That the reality of the feelings that come out of it sometimes are entirely different than what you anticipate. There's resentments, there's new emotional connections with the third person, there's jealousy. I mean, it is a terribly destabilizing experience. It is highly unusual for a relationship to be able to grow or make it through something like this. Okay? If it's a big risk if you really care about the relationship, and it's not worth the risk.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to agree because Drew said it, but I do. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with a threesome if, you know, everybody's unattached and everybody's not emotionally tied in. But when you take, you know, two people that are emotionally tied in and one that's not, or one that is and two that aren't, there's trouble. I think if it's just three people and everyone wants to have a good time and just go for pure physical sensation, that's great. But yeah, if you're dating someone or you have plans of marriage or continuing the relationship and there's all those feelings involved, there's going to be trouble down the line, and the experience is going to last 20 minutes, in my case 20 seconds, but the memory, well, actually there's really nothing wrong with it. I could probably get a lot of mileage out of the memory, but the bad feelings might linger on, and we'll be back.
Hi, this is Joey Slotnick from Single Guy, and you're listening to Loveline.
Yes, he was. That show was on tonight. I caught it. I enjoyed it. Let me get the phone number out. 1-800-LOVE-191, 1-800-568-3191. Fax number 310-854-4455. We're here with Richard Patrick and Brian Leesgang from the band Filter, and Drew is perplexed.
Uninspired. But
uninspired.
Just you pick one.
All right.
Just pick a line.
You guys say a number between 1 and 6. 3. Nicole?
That's me.
You're on Loveline.
Hi, Adam. Hi, Dr. Drew.
Hey, Nicole.
Hi, Filter.
Hello.
Hello.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I was kind of curious, not saying that any of you are or would know from personal experience, but possibly from just being out in the world. How do you know when you're bisexual, or if you're just like, you know, making things up in your own head? Or, I mean, how do you know without going out there and doing somebody?
In what context are you asking that question of us?
In what context?
In other words, have you heard me say, for instance, don't experiment when you're confused, this sort of thing? Right?
I don't know.
Well, for people that have heard me say that, when I'm saying that, I'm talking about young adults or adolescents. You're 24, you're really an adult. And if you have an inclination to do something you really want to do, and you feel you need to do it to get some clarity, then I don't have a problem with that.
Right. So, but if you hear a voice in your head telling you to kill, and you don't kill anyone,
that's a good thing.
Does that make you a killer?
No.
That makes you having hallucinations.
Makes you psychotic.
Right.
Right. But I mean, if you have a voice in your head saying, grab a boob,
makes you a rapist or a frat boy.
Wow, everyone's getting into the act. No, but if you're a woman and you have a voice that says grab some female butt, you know, I think eventually you're going to act on it, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that,
right?
And I think that would make you like a non-practicing bisexual,
possibly bisexual, right? Or at least somebody with intense bisexual urges. I mean, if you were in the perfect heterosexual relationship and totally satisfied, those may go away. Just the way you might have your heterosexual urges to do the same thing may go away.
Huh?
Grab something, that is.
I grab my own stuff, thank you. Yeah, no, I never, you know, and I'm not trying to, you know, cop some sort of macho stance here, but I never have that.
What?
I never have that grab some other guy's penis.
Well, men,
voice.
Yeah, men don't do that with the same comfort and ease as women do. I mean, women, it's much more of a possible impulse or something that they could experience without feeling bad about.
Now, why is that? I mean, because, you know, women, and Brian, you're a philosophy major, so maybe you can help out with this.
Pontificate.
Women are sort of sexually repressed a little in our society. I mean, to the extent that, you know, if a guy goes out and bangs everybody in his high school, he's a stud, and if a woman does it, she's a slut. Mm-hmm. And there's all sorts of other things where the double standard
guys are more
comes into play.
homosexually repressed. You know,
right.
If like a guy wants to go out there and grab a piece of guy ass,
right.
It's like a lot worse than if a chick does some.
You coming on to me?
I'm trying to. This table's dividing.
Is that what that was?
You got to keep an open mind.
And did you say open behind? Oh,
indeed.
Where is that? All right. There we go. There is the hi-hat. I don't even know where we are anymore. Should we just continue on?
Do we have to do this?
We're going to do that at 50. Matt, that would be playing another Filter song, by the way. Matt?
Yeah.
You're on Loveline.
Hello, Dr. Drew, Adam, and Filter.
Matt.
How's it going?
Yeah, pretty good, I suppose. I got a question for Dr. Drew.
For me?
Yeah, that would be...
When people come out with questions like that, well, let's see. Well, go ahead. What's up?
What are your feelings on the subject of premature ejaculation?
My feelings are I prefer to turn them over to Adam.
Oh, really? All right.
So go ahead.
I always defer those to the lads from Filter.
Uh-oh.
What was the question?
Talking about
ejaculation.
Okay,
what
Rich?
are our feelings on? I'm all for it because it makes me look like the longevity master. Matt, how much time?
Well, I would have to say between about 10 to 30 seconds.
Whoa.
Can you get it up like after that, or is that's it?
You know, once in a blue moon, but it's pretty rare.
So I mean, when you hit like 23 seconds, you're doing a victory lap. I mean, that's a good outing.
There's sweat rolling down. I mean, you know, it's an effort.
What are you, like a ferret on a double cappuccino? How the hell do you? I can't even.
Nah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, you mean from the time that you enter to the time that you scurry for the bathroom, it's about 15 seconds?
Yeah, well, you know, if you want to make an average, 15 seconds, well, 15 to 20.
All right, well, 20.
Has it always been that way?
Yeah.
Same person?
Yeah, well, different people. I've been with the same person.
Adam has a solution for this.
5 years now.
I do.
Okay.
Find Jehovah. Was that my solution? I was confused.
Wait a minute. You come in 23 seconds maximum with the same person you've been with for 5 years?
Yep.
Wow.
Oh, come on. You're going to give the guy a complex.
No, I'm just like...
All right, I'm sorry. Drew?
It takes me like 2 weeks.
Drew, yeah, I know. I mean, I have to concentrate. All right, okay. Matt, listen. Here's what you need to do. Do you service yourself?
Well, you know, every now and then.
Okay. You need to get on a regular maintenance program. Do you understand?
Okay.
You need to change your semen every 3,000 miles.
Okay.
No, what you need to do is you need to... Oh, for Christ's sake, Brad, come on. You're making me uncomfortable now. All right, Matt. You need to have yourself about a half hour before you attempt to have your girlfriend. You need to take the bullet out of the chamber. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think I'm getting the picture here.
Have you tried that?
Kind of warm the tires up, so to speak.
Yeah, like the burnout they do in funny car racing.
Right.
Except for not as much smoke.
Yeah, I haven't. It's not always that simple, though. You know, I mean.
Right. All right. Here's my other one. Oh, I remember what it was. Here are the two keys: masturbate before, and put a poster of the Hey Vern guy. You know, Ernest. Take a poster of Ernest and put him at the foot of the bed or on the ceiling or wherever your line of sight would be during the sexual act. There is you'll have a sexual marathon.
Doesn't baseball work anymore?
Yeah, you got to think about that too.
Reading the dictionary, baseball. All right,
Matt.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Sounds bummed.
Matt sounded a little discouraged, but that's okay.
I got a fax here from an old friend.
Oh, you want to read that real fast?
It's from my friend Jeff Olson back when I grew up. So I just want to say hi if you're listening, and I will look you up when I get to Oregon.
Is he back in
Portland?
He is studying physiology, I guess. We grew up in the same neighborhood, and we're Cub Scouts and all that stuff together. So it's pretty cool when you run into people like that.
Are you from Cleveland, or is that Richard?
No, it's me. He's from Cleveland.
And are you from Oregon?
No, I'm from
Rochester.
Rochester. I lived for a long time. I live in Chicago now.
Was I not listening?
You were not listening.
All right. Well, I'm famous for that.
We got to do this.
Oh, yes. All right. We're going to play another song from the hit Short Bus CD by Filter, and the name of that song is Dose. And that was Dose by Filter off of Short Bus and we'll be back. It's time to go. I regret this, but what can you do? We're out of time. I want to thank Filter. I want to thank Richard Patrick and Brian Leesgang for being real sports and hanging out and inhaling the microphone like we told them to do. I want to thank Sherry and Lisa on the phone. I want to thank the lovely Ann, producer. I want to thank Brett, who came in and filled in for the Nutless Wonder Mike and did a more than ample job. I want to thank Dr. Drew for being himself, which is the best. I want to thank myself for being mediocre. I want to thank Nancy Sinatra for joining us on Sunday.
That'd be nice.
And we'll talk to you then.
So that's it then. The opinions expressed on Loveline by Adam Carolla, Dr. Drew, or anyone are not necessarily ours. Be happy. Be happy. Happy, happy, happy. Loveline's producer is Ann Wilkins. Thank you. Thank you.